Good morning, or good afternoon, I guess. Now we're into the lunch hour, so it is actually officially the afternoon. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. Today I thought we'd just kind of chat a little bit about our story. Somebody was talking with me the other day and telling me that, they had no control over how their life went. And I thought, God, I thought that was kind of funny, or just a little odd. Because I think we do have control over how our life ends up. I'm a true believer that we are the author of our story. That we are people who write our story. We co-author our story. And so, while we can't control everything about it, I think there are aspects of our story that we can face the outcome of. I really believe it's your story. And I think so many people get locked into their past telling their future. And we all have a past, and some of them aren't so pretty and some of them aren't so kind. Hi, Cindy, how are you? But I think to allow that to kind of hamper us or keep us or trap us or block us from moving forward, I think that's a choice. I don't think we have to do that. Now, I know I can't control everything that goes on in my day, but it's your story, and I think don't let other people write it for you. I think a lot of people end up doing that, where they just allow people to kind of tell their story, make it up. And I don't think we have to do that. I think we do have some control of our fate and how that's going to look. We're each responsible for kind of writing out how that looks. And that's kind of what I love about what's happened this week, even right here on the internet with, for so many, I've seen so much positive come out of this story with Sam, the young man with a different ability. And I think he's kind of almost empowered, like for me, to see people in a different way. And I don't want my life to end up I'm 58 years old and I'm turning 59 at the end of the month. And I think that's starting to get to me. Because, when you start getting close to 60 years old, a kid said to me the other day, you're kind of on that other end of the spectrum. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. What does that mean? I'm on the other end of the spectrum. But he's right. More of my life, if my life, I wish I had a book here. Where is it? Dang, I can't find my book. If I had a book, if my life were a book, there would be more pages on the left side right now than there are on the right. I've lived a good portion of my life, and that's a weird place to be in. But I think it also gives you perspective and kind of a I don't really care sort of attitude in a way. Like what people are going to say or what they think. And I think that is a good thing. I think it's good to be at a point in your life when you say, you don't get to control who I am. And I think for too many people living well, I think for a lot of people, that simply means doing our best and living up to a cultural standard. Well, the cultural standard is pretty damn low right now. Hi again from Sydney, Australia. I really enjoy listening to you. Well, Marie, thank you. From Sydney, Australia. The cultural standard for a good life right now, to me, just sucks. I don't think it sets us up for much positive. I don't think it's. I don't know. I want my story to. I want it to be full of challenges. So if you're watching a good movie, do you watch a movie that has no conflict? You would never watch a movie that had no conflict in it. And yet in our lives, we try to reduce the amount of conflict that we have in our lives rather than moving into it. And I think, the other part of a good story is it has lots of characters. So you bring different characters into your life. And I think too many of us try to find people that are like us, and those are the people we call our friends. I don't really know why we do that. I think the older I'm getting, the more I'm allowing all kinds of people into my life. But I've never really belonged to a group. You know what I mean? I've never had a social group or anything like that. I think when I was in the news business, people thought I did, but that's really not. It's really not who I am. I don't. That doesn't. I don't relate to that. Everything in life needs a narrative. Exactly, Jason. So what would your narrative be? If everything has a narrative, what do you want your narrative to be? And I think too many of us get up in the morning, we just let our lives kind of go. And rather than actually establishing what that narrative is going to be. Me personally, I believe that, I'm co-authoring my story with God. Now, for those of you who don't believe in God, that's fine. You whatever your higher power, and maybe you don't have one. But for me, it's like a God thing. So he sets up these different avenues and places that I go. And then it's like, how do you want that to look, Rick? What would you like that story to look like? How do you want this part of your life to go? And then I get to take my pen and paper or my computer pad, and I write out what that story is going to look like. And it doesn't necessarily come out the way I think it is, but we can edit our lives. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand is you really can edit stuff from your lives. I don't have the prettiest past. I got some shit in my background, and but I don't let that define who I am. And so some of that stuff I just have to edit over to the side so that it doesn't control me. Does it shape me? Sure. Does it make me who I am today? I think I would never go back and trade my life for anything, my mistakes or my good stuff and my bad stuff. I wouldn't trade any of it because I think it kind of makes me who I am today, and I think that's the same with most of us. What if you could actually do that and take something away, and then you find out it makes you a different person? And I think a lot of us aren't pleased with, we think we should have been something more, maybe, something like that. And I don't buy for that. I agree. My day starts with what I can do to be the service each day. The melding of dreams with, hold on, I gotta finish reading here. Oh, come on, hold on. The melding of dreams with the dreams God has for me. You should write a book. Jason, I've always wanted to write a book, but I don't know. I'm a better communicator like this. I do like to write. I love to write. It's just finding the time to do it. I guess, what, so I think everybody has to ask themselves, like, why do I do what I do? Why do I care? And I think this has been a really good week for me because I'm kind of walking in my territory. With like this thing with Sam, I love connecting people. And I don't have to get all the attention for it. I didn't do this. The theater did this. They provided the theater for the kid. But all I did was do what I'm good at, and that's connecting people and taking care of people. So I'm working with his mom and doing some of that stuff. That's the fun part for me. And then going down there and interviewing and talking to Sam, who doesn't speak our language, but he speaks somebody else's. That's powerful stuff when you find the thing that makes you dance. So a long time ago, I did a story on a guy named Richard Gorsuch, and he's an artist. He was in Cannon Beach at the time. I think he still lives there. And he was painting a picture of Haystack Rock, from the same place at Cannon Beach every day for 365 days. He said, I don't know why I'm doing it. I just feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. And he did that. And he said, it impacted me because he said, Rick, you have to go find the thing that makes you dance and then dance. See, and I think far too many of us have not found the thing that makes us dance. And even if we have, then we're afraid to dance. I was in my spin class this morning and some music came on and I kind of started rocking out and doing some stuff. And some people were looking, and smiling and stuff. But I thought, what is it that makes us so afraid to just be happy? Because people will stare at me. What if I walked outside and walked down the street and just was singing out loud and doing my Aerosmith imitation or something? Would anybody die? No. Would I feel embarrassed? Maybe. But so what is that thing for you? What is that thing for you And I'd love to know where you guys are from. Like when you just put a comment on there, because I see your names come up here. Tell me where you're from. Just put Eugene, Portland. I saw Australia, so we know someone from Australia is here. I'd also love to have your questions. You know, fear keeps so many from following their joy and passion. Kim, I would 100% agree with you. So what are we so afraid of? Why is that? I think fear limits our story. Your Steven Tyler impression. Share my Steven Tyler impression. Oh, Kevin, you're just trying to get me in trouble, aren't you? I know how you are. But if your story is your story and you want to be crazy and do some fun stuff, why don't you do it? You know? We're too affected by other people's perceptions of what we're going to be. And I guess that is the gift of being in my 50s, is I just don't care. I mean, I honestly do not care what people think anymore. You know, I'm careful because I don't want to be offensive to people. But if I say shit, I mean, go get a. It's what it is. You know, people are afraid of being judged because that is the reality of our nation these days. 100%. I think I agree with you, Jason, on that. We become a place where I had some lady trying to twist something I'd said and telling me I was racist because of something I'd said, and she took it completely out of context. And it was ridiculous. Be original, be organic, Erin. Exactly. Now, Erin is one of my favorites, and Erin's a woman who will tell you exactly like it is. And see it, and if you let people like that into your life, if you let the different folks in your life, you start learning things. And I think you become more comfortable. So if every good book has different characters in it, why do we pick people to be around that are just like us? Instead, we should go out and find people that challenge us, or people that, you know, I'm finding this in my business. There's certain people that gel and jive with what I do, and then there's some that don't. And so I want to have people I'm working with who will push those limits and have fun with it. God, life is too short. I mean, God, you know, in a matter of, I mean, probably within 30 years, I won't be here anymore. I mean, you think about that. So what am I going to do? And that's if I'm lucky, if I get 30 years. And I guess maybe for me, the gift is that I had cancer. And cancer showed me that, I guess cancer showed me that I could see death. I knew, I mean, we all know we're going to die. But when the doctor tells you you have cancer, then I know a little bit more than a non-person with cancer that I'm going to die. And so then you don't care what people think anymore. I agree, Kim. You get this reality check, and then you realize, you know, people say, Rick, are you cured? You know, and I'm going, Mom, I don't know. My body makes cancer, so now I know that. So will I be fine? I don't know. What's your definition of fine? I mean, is it going to come back and kill me at one point in my life? Nobody gets out of this alive. So what do I want the end of my story to look like? What do you want the end of your story to look like? For me, I want it to look like Sam Branton and how this is all played out. I want it to be fighting for the person who's perceived to be the underdog. I want to go out. One of the most wonderful. How do I say that? One of the best things that happened to me this week was when people started sending me notices saying, when Sam, this young man who was kicked out of the movie theater because he has a different ability and was making noise, and people asked that he be taken out. When people started saying, Rick, notify Rick Dancer, he'll do something about this. And I was like going, they trust me. They know my heart. They know that I'm going to fight for this guy because he's perceived to be the underdog, and I'm going to go to bat for this dude. And I did. Not because I was pressured. That's who I am. That is my nature. That is the character of my story. Doesn't make me better or worse than anybody else. It's who I am. So it's me fulfilled. So walking in my fullness because I'm doing the thing that I was made to do. And that's to fight for the little guy. And when people recognize that in you, wow, that's really great. It's awesome. Because you finally feel like you've kind of come to the place where I can walk in that. And I've always had a soft spot for people, and especially people that are overlooked and stuff like that. But I think the difference is now it's like my purpose, and before it was like my job. And so now it comes with that as some other stuff. So let's talk about you, though. So how does that work for you? How do you find your purpose and what it is that you do that makes you come alive? I mean, can you think, when I say what makes you come alive, can you think about what makes you come alive? Do you know what that is? And then how often do you take that and then go do something about it? See, I think that it's like the little teeny things that you do that matter the most. It's not the big moments, really. It's like the little teeny things. Like when you see someone and you say hi to them, or when you smile at someone. I think those are the doors. That's how, to me, in my belief system, I think that's how God smiles on people. Is He tells us to take care of the widow, the orphan, and the poor. And I think we're all poor in spirit at times. And I think when you pay attention to people, when I've been around folks who are like homeless, and I put my arm around them, they're stunned. In fact, I'll tell you an interesting story. It was probably 5 years ago. I came out of Full City. Excuse me. Hi, Sam. Came out of Full City, and there was a black man sitting on the curb with his girlfriend, and they were apparently homeless. And after I talked to them, I found out they were, but they looked homeless. And the guy goes, "Hey, you're Rick Dancer." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, I said, "Can I sit down?" They were sitting on the curb. I said, "Can I sit down and talk to you?" And he goes, "Yeah." So I sit down and start talking to him, asking him questions about his life. How'd you get in this situation? Are you guys homeless? How'd you get there? Come tell me about your life. And the guy's talking to me, and we had this conversation, and pretty soon he looks at me and he goes, "I didn't think you'd be like this." And I said, "Well, 5 years ago I wasn't. I was an arrogant newscaster who thought he was somebody. But life kind of showed me that I'm just like everybody else." And he said, he just looked at me kind of funny, and then I reached my hand out and I said, "Now what's your name again?" to shake his hand, and he just sat there, and I remember he looked at my hand, and I said, "What's wrong?" And he goes, "I've never touched a white guy before." I was like, "What? You're black?" And he started laughing. He goes, "I've never touched a white guy before." And so I reached out and grabbed his hand, and we just stood there, and I just held his hand, like really awkwardly holding his hand, like lovingly holding his hand. And I said, "That feels good, huh?" He goes, "Yeah." And he says, "Why don't people touch you?" He goes, "I don't know." I said, "Well, maybe because you are homeless, you probably didn't wash your hands last time you went to the bathroom, and maybe people think about that." And he goes, "Yeah, probably." And I said, "Well, I can always go wash my hand if I'm worried about it, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You're weird." I said, "Yeah, I am." And I kept holding on to his hand, and then I said, "Thanks for talking to me." He goes, "No, thank you." And then his girlfriend was sitting right there just kind of looking at us. I went in the store, bought a coffee, came out, handed her a cup of coffee, and she goes, "Thank you." See, I think that's what it is. And it's not me being special. I'm just naturally curious about people. So I'm not afraid to ask those questions. I was a reporter for 20-some years, so asking hard questions of people or giving them a place to talk, it doesn't bother me, you know? But what if we all did that? To make our story more interesting, your assignment is to find people you don't know and hold their hand. Ask them a question. Touch them. Love the unlovely. Smile at somebody that's walking by. We all want to be acknowledged, I think. And even if you do, just acknowledge each other. You know what I mean? I mean, you're walking through the store and people are angry and frustrated, and don't do it based on what they're going to do back, because that doesn't. Hold on, I'm going to try to read what you guys said. These guys said, people talk to who know you through the news. You're still a big local hero they grew up with every day. Well, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that, I guess. No, I do. I just try to get rid of that guy, me. One of the things for me is making people feel important and special. Sometimes it's my kids. Other times it's the older lady you quietly pass by sitting. I totally agree. Buna Rick, yeah, I totally agree. Nicole, yeah. And you can change people's outlook on their day. So let me wrap this up for today. So if you are, we're working on creating a podcast, so we can do more stuff like this and then take our shows and kind of put them in there. For my job, I walk the street 6.5 hours a day. Oh, I love this. I'm able to do what you're saying all the time, and I'm fortunate. Heather, that's awesome. What a great job. What do you do? I think we can all do it, though, with the people we work with, or when we go to lunch with people and say hi to them. And I think the thing you have to do, too, is not expect anything back. Hey, Amber. Well, yeah, well, I'm online. I'm pretty easy to find. I live in Springfield as well. So find people, if you're gonna write your story and you want it to be interesting, quit trying to get rid of the conflict. Thank you again, Rick. These are 5 of us here that listen to your there are 5 of us here that listen to your broadcast. Where are you? Marie, where do you live? So what, can I ask you a weird question, you guys? I mean, what is it that you get out of this? I mean, really, I know what I get out of it. I love to communicate with people and share stuff. You deliver mail. I found Rick in 5th grade. I'm 35. Hearing Rick's voice is so comforting. Jason, you and I need to get together. You found me in the 5th grade. Where did you go to school? And I appreciate that my voice is comforting to you. But what do you guys get out of, I mean, if I can ask, if that's okay. I'm seriously considering doing a podcast because I get a lot of people that want me to talk about different stuff. But I don't quite understand what it is that this is for an audience. Positive outlook on life and solutions for living a great life. Okay? And I think that comes from Ginger because it just, I don't know. Because I think part of it for me is that people think I have such a perfect life. Oh, Kennedy. Okay, Jason. No, you and I need to get together. We really do. And I think that sometimes they don't understand. I think because I was Rick Dancer on TV, people think, oh, you have this and you have that. And then they find out, that it's really, I'm just like all the rest of you. And hardship is what makes us who we are, I think, and you're able to share that human experience. And, if we're going to write our story, you have to be able to, go there, and sorry, I should have said, so Marie, you're in Sydney, Australia, and you guys, 5 of you sit and listen to this. Oh, we love your perspective and attitude on life. I want to come to Sydney. I help feeling real life conversations that not all people want to discuss. That's what I love the most, is I think people are afraid to really talk about stuff. None of us are alone in life, no matter how we feel. It's disheartening sometimes to still open the door, the elderly, basically. Well, we could do that. We could open, I think that's why, oh my gosh, Sam, you really got that going there. entertainment and open-minded views on topics we all want to talk about, but not sure how to, or who to talk about it with. Well, thanks, Aaron. No, that helps me kind of understand what this is all about, what's going on. You know, we want to push envelopes. I mean, I think you have to be able to push the envelope, and I'll guarantee you I'm wrong as much as I'm right. But my goal is not to be right. It's you know, it's just to do the right thing as I see it. I guess not be right, but I want to be righteous. I don't mean self-righteous. I just mean I want to do what God wants me to do. You know? And there's a lot of shit people tell me that God wants me to do that doesn't add up. And the stuff that I know he wants me to do is love his people, love people. And what I do know also is he loves all people. Even the screwed up ones like me. But he cares about his creation. You know, he creates these people, and then I think sometimes people in church land like to think that, well, he kind of likes us better. I don't live in church land anymore. I live in his world, the world that he created. And as I read what he says to me, he loves all these people the same. So that kind of puts me in my, little place, and then I know my spot. I better shut the hell up and be nice to people. You know what I mean? Because I said this one time to a lady on here, and I thought it was kind of funny because I said shit, and she said, "You can't say shit. You shouldn't say shit." And I went, you know, when I get to the end of my life, I don't think God's going to give a shit whether I said shit. He's going to look at me and he's going to say, "How did you treat my people? What did you do for my people, Rick? How did you..." What did you do for my people? And see, when I see Sam and his mom and this situation at the theater, I smile. And I don't do it for that reason, but I know God's up there smiling going, "You go get him, Rick." Go get him. Marie, I still consider myself a follower of Christ. I just don't follow church doctrine because I think it's a lot of man-made tradition and not accurate to what God really wants me doing. I don't think he cares if I go to church every Sunday, which I don't. I don't think he cares if I buy in to the latest thing, but I think he cares about how I treat people. Oh, you're fine. I'm on a live, but you can come in here. Okay. You're meeting somebody at 1. Yeah. I would love to just sit down and drink some coffee. Sam, that sounds fun. Irony is the best. Okay, so you guys want to meet somebody? Get your ass over here. We have a special guest.
I'm all grimy, fresh out of bed.
This is, you guys don't ever want to be my friend or work with me. So this is CJ.
Greetings
CJ.
all.
So you guys so CJ is working with me. But how do we know each other? I love putting people on the spot. So we have some ladies. There's a group of 5 ladies in Australia that watch this.
Oh.
CJ and I would really like to come down under and talk and do a live show in Australia. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, sponsor.
So how do we know each other?
So several years ago, I was the turnaround student at Roosevelt Middle School, and you were emceeing the event, and then I bumped into you years later when I was out and about, and we've stayed in contact since.
What does it mean to be a turnaround kid?
To be a turnaround kid is to find the inner drive and potential that has been suppressed. And sometimes it's been suppressed by other people, but mostly it's you.
Because your life was hard.
Yeah.
You grew up hard.
Yeah, it was a bit rough, but
you didn't.
But the important thing is I beat the odds.
So how did you do that?
I got tired of putting limits on myself, but I really got tired of other people trying to limit my capacities.
So because what we're talking about here is writing your story. So if you were writing your story, if you'd allowed your story to be written by your past, it would be pretty sad.
Objectively, I'm sure some people would concur with that.
So you have been able to go in and say, I'm not going to settle for that.
Yeah, and I'm doing it right now too. That's something that stays with you. If you're able to do it once, you'll be able to do it throughout your entire adulthood.
Is it still hard?
Oh yeah, it is. But I'm a fighter, and that turnaround event, that's where I first realized it.
Does your past still scream back at you to come back, CJ? You know.
Yeah. There's always going to be temptations to fall back into old habits and the vices, but you overcame it once. You can do it again, and it's easier the second time.
What's your best asset?
I let others put.
Okay, so can I do that?
Sure.
He's super smart. I mean, really super smart, don't you think? You
sure.
are super smart. Now shut up. I think you're super smart.
Everyone's their own worst critic, but.
But you also you have a big heart.
Well, thank you. Thanks
Don't
for
you think?
recognizing that.
You care about people.
I'd like to say so.
And you
I'm
like
glad other
doing the
people say
right
that.
thing. You like doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he's no wuss. This guy has opinions, and some of them you guys would really be mad about. Because you're pretty opinionated, too.
You have every right to be. Hi, Karen.
Those are my... Oh, so he's talking about this. So what are you doing here? You have a meeting?
Yeah, I'm just a business meeting later at 1.
Okay, so...
I'm fresh out of bed, and they're going to have to deal with it.
This is what it is. So CJ, you're going to come with me Thursday and shoot some video for me, and Friday too?
I'm delighted to.
Okay, so I need you for Katie's thing. We're going to go to a demolition room on Thursday. It's a room that... Do you know what we're doing?
I don't.
Okay.
But I'll find out.
Okay, so Katie Hallert, one of our clients, she's going to go to this demolition room in Springfield, and they put you in a suit, and they give you a sledgehammer, and you just beat the hell out of stuff. I beat the odds like CJ, very young. I write my own story by pushing the envelope to give young adults and someone they need now in Cottage Grove.
I love pushing the envelope.
Karen wants to know how old you are.
I'm old enough.
How old are you? Tell them how old you are.
Okay, if you insist. I'm 20 years old.
So he's 20.
Yeah.
And he's at the U of O, taking a little bit of time off right now, but he's a student at the U of O, got a full ride scholarship, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I told you, he's smart. I want to go. Where do you want? Oh, you want to go to the demolition room, James? And then on Friday, we're going at 1:15. Have you seen the story on Sam, the guy with the different ability? He was in a wheelchair, and Cinemark kicked he and his mom out because he was making noise. And people asked for him to leave. I know, isn't that terrible?
That's vile.
Well, you should hear the response. It's gone viral, like 8,000 shares on the story. And then the Broadway Metro called me, and we set up a private screening, so he gets to go with 30 of his friends and have his own screening of the movie.
Heck yeah, what a comeback.
Isn't that great? Sometimes I wonder if I have purpose on this planet, and when I do something for someone else, I realize I do. Yeah, Heather, we always have purpose.
It's all about channeling your energy into something worthwhile and humanitarian.
So what do you do to make that feel right?
I try to find other kids, and even people that aren't kids, maybe kids at hearts that are in similar predicaments that I am or was in, and I try to help them find their full potential.
How has it made you different,
Their latent potential.
understanding who you are? And you're still figuring that out.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'll ever know who I really am, but
So-
but I'm not going to give up on that journey.
So do this for me. Give me the title of the next chapter of your life. The one you're in right now. Want me to help you?
That's something I've been praying about. So,
Would it be perseverance right now?
Right now, yeah, it's perseverance and
Listening to your heart, not the message of the world?
yeah, I'd say that's a big part of it.
Do we
right
know
now.
we know each other? So that's the other thing I think it takes to write a good story is relationship. You need co-editors, and so CJ and I, while he's 20 and I'm 58, we're helping each other co-author our story, and I think that's part of this whole process. Hold on. You most welcome here in Australia. You're gathering a following here, slowly but surely. You're doing resonates with a lot of us here. God, that is so funny. Don't you think that's funny? Like Australia. Well, Marie, we're thrilled. You're exactly the age we need more mentors to support young folks like yourself. Keep going. You should be proud. I can see you're paying it back. Whoops. She said that to you.
Oh, okay.
That's what she said to you. She said you can tell that you're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
And you guys, just so you know, I mean, I'm not going to out the guy, but he's going through some rough shit right now. So life is, he looks like this nice kid who's doing his stuff, and he is, but life's pretty tough right now.
Yeah, it is, but I'm a fighter.
And and we talk about it.
Yeah.
And I know he's told me everything, and I know what's going on, and I'm right here next to him all the time.
Rick.
That's how you do it. So it makes his story different, and by me getting to do that, it makes my story better too. That's what I love about this thing called life. Both of you guys are great rest of the day. May peace on the road be with you. All right, girls in Australia, women in Australia, we will say good night, goodbye, or probably good night for them. I wonder what time it is over there.
I'd like to conclude with one challenge for all of you.
You go right ahead, man. You go ahead and do my show.
For every grievance or trial or tribulation you're experiencing right now, try to do 2 good things for someone else.
Like what? What should we do?
Well, that varies from person to person. But if you're going through something, help someone else going through it, and maybe you guys can work together on something.
Does that get your mind off of yourself?
It does, but more importantly, you're channeling that negative energy that's easy to build up and putting it into something better. That's much larger than yourself or whatever you're going through at the time.
Karen Munsell, do you know her?
I don't believe.
She says this is the toughest time for our CJs.
There's more CJs out there, I'm sure.
Oh, maybe you're just talking about young people. Oh, it's 6 a.m., Marie, and you are watching us at 6 a.m. God. You know what? We need to get T-shirts made.
Haven't even had your coffee yet.
You haven't even had your coffee yet. We need to get T-shirts made, So, again, we are starting a podcast. You are wise beyond your years. That's you.
I have plenty to learn, believe me.
But we're working on it. Whatever the Spirit moves you to do. That's right. That's right. All right, you guys.
Amen.
So take this, share it on your page if you want to. And be looking for us on Thursday, because CJ and I will be at the Demolition Room with Katie Hallert and the Stellar Home Team when they're beating the hell out of things. And on Friday, the big day, Sam Brenton is going to have his birthday party, and get his free movie with 30 of his closest friends, thanks to the Broadway Metro Theater in downtown Eugene, allowing a young man with a different ability to get to ride in on his wheelchair and scream all he wants during his movie after being kicked out of another movie theater for just being himself.
Happy noises.
Happy noises is what it is. And he gets to have all the happy noises. So we'll introduce you to him at 1:15 to 1:30 on Friday. So that should be super fun. So from the little place of Eugene, Oregon, CJ and Rick, I'm so glad you came in. That was really fun. Nobody wants to be my friend if you don't want to get called on the carpet. He walks in the door. He was just going to wave, and it's like, nah, get your ass in here.
It's funny how these things work out sometimes.
Yeah, when you hang around me, it kind of happens. All right, that's our new motto. Happy noises. Woo! All right, see you guys later.